Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, the ADHD prison wife. So here we are again. I was talking to a friend of mine named Jenny. She has her own YouTube channel called Jenny's Couch. Check her out, please. I'll put her link in the description below. And we were talking about, I was texting her one day at the end of January this year saying, hey, I'm thinking I want to post up another video and I want it to be about visits in general, this, and this. And so she started to helpfully ask me a lot of questions that I wrote down here so that I could do like a Q&A thing and I can answer some of the questions that she had. Maybe some of you guys have burning questions, and if you'd like to leave them in the comments below, I'll answer to the best of my abilities. So I'm doing this totally off the cuff, completely unscripted. One of my friends mentioned that in the last video I kept looking down a lot and not looking, at the camera. So here we go. Okay, Q&A time. Johnny, sorry, my friend's name is Johnny, but she goes by Jenny. So Jenny's Couch. Yeah, sorry. Johnny's her real name. Jenny's her, on-screen name. So there you go. Sorry to clear up that confusion. Johnny, aka Jenny from Jenny's Couch Jenny says, what are some of the things you didn't expect? Going into visits the first time, I can't say that I had any kind of expectations. I didn't really truly know what to expect. My current husband, but then my friend back then, he was like the only person that I've ever known that's been in prison that like he and I wrote letters back and forth. When I was a child, there was a man that was like, I guess part of the church, like his wife went to church, and his 3 daughters and his wife used to visit him in prison in Folsom when we lived in Sacramento, California. And like I didn't ever know him personally, like up until I finally got to meet him 2-3 years ago, which he's an amazing man. He's very sweet and everything, and he's like an uncle to me. But back, when I'm saying that I didn't know anyone in prison as a child, my mom never let us go visit this brother in prison. She would tell us that we're not his family and therefore we're not allowed to visit him, which is, I guess, not really true, because I was able to visit my current husband and I was just his friend, and all I had to do is get on the visiting list. Become an approved visitor, at least in California. That's how this goes. So this is for the state of California, state prisons, the CDCR, which is the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. And that's who runs all the state prisons in California, as far as I know. And so this is the information that I have here and based off of my experience. So if anything's wrong or off, please forgive. I do have ADHD. I am 1, highly forgetful, and 2, not 100% accurate, because we're all human and we all make mistakes. So I will try to post in some of the links below, some of the actual information, like specific rules that are part of the rules and regulations for CDCR for visiting. If anyone's interested, they can check out those links below. I'll post them. Don't worry, I got your back, Jack. Yeah, my husband says stuff like that and it just ends up sticking. What can I say? He says stuff, it sticks to me. What can I do? Yeah, so I didn't really have great expectations of the first time I visited him. It was myself, his mom, and his 2 young nieces. I had never been to visit anyone in prison, so I was super like freaking out. I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning that day. I literally read and scoured the internet for what to wear, what's appropriate to wear, how should I wear what I'm gonna wear, what colors are appropriate, what are the rules, what are the protocols, what am I supposed to do when I go in there. I was like literally going crazy trying to find out the exact process of how to get into visiting, because I wasn't trying to get in trouble. I wasn't trying to get kicked out. I didn't know what I was doing, and I was really trying to steer clear from any issues that we could have that day. So I was trying to be as prepared as humanly possible. So I did my homework that day. My friend once was asking the question of, excuse me, what are some of the things you didn't expect? Well, she asked that, and she said because all that she knows about visiting and prisons and so on is from the movies. And I would actually add in TV shows. A lot of people know nowadays there's a lot of TV shows, like, what is it, Orange is the New Black. I've literally never seen these shows, so I don't really know what they're about, per se. I mean, I have an idea what they're about, but I can't say that Orange is the New Black because my husband has never worn an orange jumpsuit, at least not in front of me. He's never worn an orange jumpsuit. I think that's, I would say, stereotypical, but not 100% accurate necessarily. What is visiting really like, she asks, and because all I know is from the movies. Well, again, that's a super general question, and I'm going to try to answer that throughout this video. Do you get to hug and kiss? Yes. At the beginning and the end of visit, we get to have a brief hug and kiss. Because, oh, sorry. Do you get to buy goodies? Yes, we get to buy goodies. We buy goodies out of the vending machines, at least again at Centinela State Prison, where my husband is currently at. There's different vending machines for like food, snacks. Like the snacks one has like, let's say like candy bars and things that are like candy like, and chips and stuff like that. And then there's like they have vending machines for ice cream. They have vending machines for like food, like I don't remember exactly if they're like salads and stuff, but definitely they're like sandwiches type of food, frozen meals, things that are actually not that bad tasting. My husband and I were particularly fond of the lasagna. We love the lasagna. We're huge fans of the lasagna. And then we would buy like a string cheese, and I would, well, he or I, one of us would put like extra cheese on top, and then we'd microwave we microwave that a lot. And it was just, I love cheese. My husband knows that I love cheese. So yeah, that stuff was really good. You can make food taste better by like adding in little, fix-ins to the best of your abilities, because hello, it's prison and they don't exactly have a great variety of food. Although I have heard other sites, other prison places have even like a menu, and you order off a menu, and I'm like, there's a menu? Like, no, that's at least not the case in Centinela. I wish. There's vending machines for sodas and water and stuff like that. So there should technically be a little bit of everything for everyone. But like, say I have friends that maybe have like diabetes and stuff like that, or any other like health issues that are not particularly fond of any of the food there. It's super like high in sodium and all that. I'm like, thankfully, I'm not much of a dieter or person that, I mean, I do kind of care about my weight. I'm kind of overweight right now, like obese, like I weigh 165 pounds and I'm 5'0". So that's really like heavyweight for me. Hopefully, planning on heading back to California soon. So I'm hoping to drop that weight. Just being in California, kind of, I don't know what it is, but I generally kind of have a tendency to lower my weight when I'm over there. Anyway, sorry, going off on a tangent again. ADHD, please don't forget that I have ADHD. I do have a tendency to go off on tangents that have nothing to do with the topic at hand. So yes, definitely there are goodies. As for the amount of money, there's a set amount of money that you're allowed to bring in, and it used to be $50, but they upped it to $70. So now you can bring in $70 all in singles or quarters. And how do you acquire singles and quarters? You go to your local bank if you're someone that's super prepared and thinks of these things ahead of time. I hardly ever did. So I would just stop on casinos along the way. Casinos are a great place to get singles. So little tip right there. Why are some people behind glass? Well, when you visit someone behind the glass, at least again in California, it means that they did something and they got in trouble and they got their contact visits taken away. Although I believe another reason could be is that they recently just arrived at the prison and they're still being processed, so they don't really, for whatever reason, they don't get contact visits yet. At least that's what I think. Again, please don't quote me on this. This is not 100% like, accurate information. I don't work for the CDCR. I've only ever visited like 3 different CDCR prisons. We've only been on this journey for like a little bit over 3 years. So yeah, don't take this as like, the law or whatever. Can you talk about or mention things that you wish you knew that you had to learn the hard way? Yeah, not all prison wives are friendly and want to be friends. I'm a super friendly person, at least I think I am by nature. And I met someone, my experience at High Desert State Prison was that not everyone was as super friendly as I am and as like willing to make new friends. Centinela I found to be kind of sort of the complete opposite. So for 2 like level 4 prisons, so High Desert was a level 4, but so was Centinela. Level 4 prisons wise, Centinela has a lot more friendlier prison wives in my experience. I don't know if it's because, all of us travel from LA and we see each other kind of regularly. So there's people that literally visit every single weekend there. And at High Desert, that was not as common. And I think it's just the distance from LA to High Desert was a 10-hour car drive. 10 hours, you guys. Although the views up there once you got up to, Susanville was gorgeous up there. But I mean, driving to Centinela is a 3.5 to 4 hour drive. So from LA, more or less. So it's a little bit of an easier drive to get to Centinela. So again, it does get super busy, like a lot more people visit. That's from what I've noticed. And that's just my opinion. So yeah, not everybody wants to be your friend, or my friend anyway. Can you hold hands? Yes, I am allowed to hold hands, only hold hands with my husband while we're during the visit. So we can hold hands and kind of walk around, even though that's not 100% frowned upon at Centinela. They don't really just want you holding hands and walking around. They don't, like, at least when we were there, they didn't tell us you can't do that per se. we were supposedly not allowed to do that, but we could like walk holding hands to the microwaves and hold hands and wait in line to, you know, get to the vending machine, stuff like that. So we weren't supposed to walk around, but we did a little bit. It was it's it's very little bits of things that you're allowed to like do besides just sit there. So walking around, even though it's not 100% allowed, it's not they're not going to tell you sit down, you know, necessarily. At least that was my experience. They never told us that we had to sit down or anything like that. Is there a dress code? Yes, there is 100% a very strict dress code. The main couple of things that I can like touch on quickly would be that black has always been our safest color. Black is a safe color because there's nothing anywhere in any handbook that says you can't just wear all black. So we wear all black, and the baggier, the better. Other choice colors that you can totally use that should be safe in California: yellow, purple, and pink. That's been my experience. All the other colors, if you wear like all red or all orange or all white or all green or all blue, that could also just end up landing you in some type of deep trouble, because depending on the shade of green that you wear or the shade of blue that you're wearing, I just say all green, all blue, all red, and all orange. And all white, wearing all white or even all gray is completely out, just because if you can even remotely resemble a prisoner or one of the guards, which they call a correctional officer or CO, if you remotely look like a guard or an inmate, you are wrong. Don't do it. Just like you'll end up getting in trouble and they'll make you go change, and it's just not fun to have to wear other people's clothes. Oh, because there's a place where you can go change and they'll let you borrow clothes for the day. It's a little weird, and it's kind of like, I mean, it's not that the clothes are clean, and I do definitely appreciate it. Thank you so much, friends of the outside, for existing. We appreciate you, but it's just not comfortable to be wearing somebody else's clothes. So as prison wives, we have learned to always have not one, not two, but probably at least 3 backup outfits just in case. You want to be on the safe side, you know? And I do say the baggier the better, because when you're wearing clothes that's too like showy, if you're showing any cleavage, if you're showing like too much, you know, if you have short sleeves or no sleeves, if you're wearing something that's too short, there's rules for all of that. And again, when I posted in the links below about visitation, the visiting guidelines are pretty strict. If anyone has the time of the day to read through all of those, yeah, you'll see what I'm talking about. So my friend, one of her comments that she made was that she was surprised to hear that visits last as long as they do. Well, regular contact visits. Regular contact visits, I told her, last between 4 and up to 6 hours. Nobody really gets a full 6 hours because of the time that it takes to process you in and out, and like be in there and like say wait for your you know, husband or loved one to come out from their area to come to the visiting room. So yeah, no one ever really gets a full 6 hours. Like not even, maybe on your wedding day, but even then, I don't think so. Let me see. Oh, sorry, wedding day at High Desert State Prison anyway. Sorry, at High Desert State Prison, we actually had a wedding where we had the whole family, and we were there from 8 a.m. and we were able to stay the full amount of time. But again, I don't think 100% that we got 6 hours. Even then, I sincerely doubt it, but that day was a blur, a happy blur, but a blur of a day. It went by very quickly. My friend said that she thought that visits would only last 20 minutes, and therefore she was surprised when I told her they last from 4 up to 6 hours, again, at least in state prisons in California. She says, because on the TV, they're always in a hurry to have to go, and it's all just rather very quickly, like visit, and oh, we have to go all of a sudden. She felt like that's only like 20 minutes, and that everything's very rushed. Well, thankfully, not everything is like TVs in the movie. It's not like that. Do you have to be screened? Yes and yes. I don't really know which screen she meant, but you do have to be an approved visitor, fill out a form, and get approved to be able to visit an inmate, as well as you do get screened when you arrive. You go through again, at Centinela, you go through a metal detector. You as a person, you walk through a metal detector, as well as you take off your shoes and you put them in a box, just like the airport, and they put that box of all of your stuff, like your the money that you brought, your ID card that you brought, everything that you have on you that like gets taken off and removed, like your jacket, if you brought a jacket or a sweater, that gets removed and put into the box, and that goes through an x-ray machine. Then you walk through the metal detector. So say for us girls, a metal underwire bra, no, don't do it. Get you a sports bra, or take out the metal underwire from a very old bra that you don't like anymore, because if you set off that machine, they're gonna make you go change. Facts of life. All right. A couple more questions. There's only one more page, you guys. How many visits can one person get? Okay. you can get like one visit per weekend day. So like, okay, every inmate is, I guess, entitled to or gets Saturday and Sunday. We can visit every Saturday and every Sunday. Okay, at least we used to before COVID. I'm talking everything here that I've talked about in this video is pre-COVID, because currently there are no visits. Since March 2020, about mid-March 2020, they took away all visits, family visits, contact visits, behind the glass visits. All the visits were all of a sudden gone because of COVID, and we understand, but it's just very frustrating to not be able to see our loved ones. So it just seriously sucks. So sorry, back to how many visits can one person get? As far as I know, you can get like one visit per day. I don't really know 100%. I don't remember how it works, like how people or groups, like say, as an example, not that this would actually happen, but say I'm going to go visit my husband and I want to be, there like from in the morning till like noon. And then I'm going to like leave, exit, and then let someone else come in and visit because I don't want to be there at the same time they are for whatever the reason. Then I think they can do that. But I mean, I could also just go like say me, okay, myself, my mother-in-law, his two nieces, and I'm trying to remember if there was a fifth person or he's the fifth person, but I believe you can have up to like 4 visitors or maybe 5 visitors at a time. I don't remember. It's a bit fuzzy. It's been a while. Sorry, you guys. So again, as far as I know, one person can get one visit per like weekend day, something like that. And then there's also the 4 holidays that we get, which is New Year's Day, 4th of July, Thanksgiving Day, and Christmas Day. I remember them all in order. Yay me. All right. My friend asks, can I roll up and get a visit with your hubby? No. Yes and no. So if my friend were to roll up into a California state prison to go visit my husband without prior consent, like without having filled out an authorization or visitor's form, I want to say it's 50-50 on whether or not she'd be able to see my husband. Firstly, my husband probably has no clue who she is. And if she's walking in alone without me having made a prior appointment, she has to walk in at after 12 p.m. She has to show her ID, explain that she's traveled over 250 miles to get to there, that she's never visited him before, like in the past 30 days, and that she wants to try to get approved on the spot because she has never been able to visit him before. She would kind of have to explain that she's a friend of his, even though she's not really, because she's not really personally met my husband thus far. And if my husband comes out and sees a blonde girl that he doesn't know or recognize and he doesn't see his wife anywhere, then the smartest thing that my husband can do is head back into his prison cell because he doesn't really want to get into any drama with some random girl that he's never met. I mean, unless he's feeling brave and courageous and he goes and asks her, hey, who are you and what are you doing here? And once he finds out that she's a friend of mine, maybe he'll talk to her. But again, I think I would have to ask him to see what would happen in said situation. So that's why it's a yes and a no. But I love you, my friend. You know I do. It's just there's procedures and stuff to follow. So there you go. So she asks, how does your ADHD affect your visits? Well, my husband and I both have ADHD, so I think it makes for super fun visits. I mean, we have a good time when we're together. We have a super fun time when we're together. It's like, I always say it's like 2 puppy dogs meeting for the first time. And it's like that every single time we get together. It's just that whole puppy love thing, the honeymoon phase. We're still in the honeymoon phase and we've been married for almost 3 years. So I think that's a good thing. I think that, like my husband says, there's never a dull moment between us, and why should there be? We always have something to talk about, even if it's the most inane stuff. We talk about the dumbest stuff together. We just do. We're 2 crazy kids in love, and what's wrong with that? Like, literally, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Okay, so, let's see. Okay, she asks, they meaning the prison guards, do they ask how far away you would travel? Because as previously mentioned, if she's traveled over 250 miles to visit him, which she's in Florida and he's in California, that's definitely over 250 miles, trust me, then they might ask if she's traveled further if she's visiting him for the first time and has never been on his approved visiting list, has never filled out a visitor's form. They might ask these questions because they'll basically go like, who are you? Why are you here to visit this person if you've never met and you don't really know much about him? Maybe you have his full name and that's about it, but you need to be able to give us his full name and his CDCR number and like just, yeah, it's kind of maybe not as easy as most people would think, that it would just be easy to just roll up and visit anybody. I don't think it's that easy, but whatever. Again, that's why there's rules and procedures and so on in place. So I said to that question, normally no, they don't normally ask how far you've traveled. But if you're asking for an exception, again, someone that's never filled out a visitor's form, then the exception to the rule is generally if you've traveled over 250 miles and or you haven't seen that person in the past 30 days. They haven't gotten a visit from you in 30 days. So those are generally the two exceptions to the rule. All right, so then she says, why wouldn't your husband come out to see me? My friend who's Jenny, and she has blonde hair and she's super sweet. If he doesn't know her, that might land him in hot water. As a married man, my husband having a visitor when I'm not around, I'm not trying to be possessive of my husband. It's just not a good idea. He literally doesn't know who this person is. It could be someone good, it could be someone bad, it could be a reporter. If he has no idea who this person is, like, why would he go out to find out who this is? Well, her take on this, her next question goes, wouldn't it be like okay to go out and find out who this is? Because wouldn't it be a break in the monotony that is his day? Like his day is like so boring otherwise. Well, I mean, even inmates make plans for the weekends to like hang out in the yard or do other stuff. So if all of a sudden my husband has a visit and he wasn't expecting it and it's a super total surprise, which I did that time like maybe twice, that I landed in on him and just kind of dropped in on him and was like, hello, I'm here. It's not that he didn't love my surprise, he just wasn't ready, like prepared ready, like he wasn't like ready, like showered, dressed and ready to go like he would normally be for a regular visit when he knows I'm coming. So he would be having to get dressed and like showered in a hurry, and it would be stressful because it was after the second time that I landed on him like a surprise visit. We never did that again. I got a $400 speeding ticket that time, and it ended up being such like bad luck all the way around that I just never did that again. I was just like, no, don't ever surprise your inmate when you visit him. Don't surprise your loved ones who are in prison if they're not expecting you. It can be really stressful, and then they'll be super late coming out to visit you because they didn't know you were coming. If they know you're coming, then they'll try to do their best to be ready on time, which my husband, it wasn't his fault, and he had a little funny joke, or at least he thinks it's funny, about how he didn't exactly have the keys to the getting himself out, because I'd be like, babe, you're late, like, and I'd be like mad that he'd be 20 and 30 minutes late sometimes, and I'm like, what is this? Like, you knew I was coming, you knew like what time my appointment was, like I let him know in advance in a letter or on a phone call, you knew what time I was coming, you knew what you were supposed to be ready. And he's like, oh, I was ready. I'm like, okay, then why did it take you like 20 and 30 minutes to get out here? And he's like, oh, I'm so sorry, babe, it's just like, I forgot the key to my cell. He doesn't have keys to his cell. Nobody does. There's no key to the cell anyway. I mean, they get let out with like a buzzer button. I don't know. I don't really know how it functions, but my husband thinks he's got jokes. He thinks he's funny. Okay, he kind of is. All right, he makes me laugh. All right, so another question. Are there toys for kids? Yes, there are toys for kids. There's a whole section for kids to play in. There's literally like a toy or kids sections. There are toys. There are game boards, like so you can play, I guess, I don't know, stuff like Chutes and Ladders or Candyland or Monopoly, whatever. They have those types of like board games. They have games like Jenga. They have the High Desert had Guess Who, where you lift up the little faces and there's like men, women, and are they wearing glasses and all that kind of stuff. They have books. They have loads of books. Everything's usually donated. I think the books, the games, everything's donated. Stuff, the toys, all of that, I believe, is donated from somebody. I don't really know who the somebodies are. I don't know if it's like just us, like prison wives and fellow prison families donate to each department or area for the kids' play areas. But there is a variety of stuff at every single yard that I've been to, and again, the yards that I'm familiar with are A, B, C, and D yards. So A, B, C, and D yards, and we've been in yards, I think C and D. We've been in yards, I think A and B. Different prisons have different like yards for different types of inmates. So that's a whole another explanation for another day. If somebody wants it, just ask away in the comment section below. Let me know if you have any questions or comments or curiosities, things you guys want to know about visiting. Are inmates allowed to hold and play with kids? Well, yes, if they're their kids. If they're the daddy, if they're the uncle, if they're the the person that's visiting them brought the kids to visit them, then yes, they can hold them, bounce them on their laps, and just kind of have fun, generally holding kids. But I'm pretty sure there's an exception to the rule that like if it's someone that the kids don't know and all that. Ooh, You guys, there was a mosquito in my face. Oh my gosh, I don't like mosquitoes. Oh my gosh, I don't know where it went. I'm freaking out. Yeah, that's never happened to me on a video before. I'm like, oh my god, go away, mosquito. I do not want that thing to bite me. Go bye bye, mosquito. Wherever you went, go bye bye. I'm like, and we're almost done, you guys. Gosh. So, if my friend Jenny were in prison, she says that she would go out and see all visitors. Whoever came to visit her, she would be there and go like, "Who are you? Why are you visiting me?" So that's Jenny's take on it. She says, "Do they, the prison guards, go and ask him, meaning my husband, if he wants to have a visit?" I don't really think it works that way. I think they just let him know, "Hey, there's a visitor waiting for you," and I guess he somehow has to determine that when he arrives, like, who is this person if it's someone he doesn't know. So again, that could be an awkward situation if he doesn't know the person at all. Johnny says, oh, she says, see, I only know what Hollywood tells me, like the movies and the TV. So this is good information for her. So like her take on the surprise visits was, yes, surprise visits ruin his weekend plans with others. And so she said, if I, meaning Jenny, if she showed up, would they call you to approve? They don't call me for approval. Definitely not. No, I personally have seen, and my husband has sent, and especially for our wedding day, he sent his visitors list. So there's a list of approved visitors that the guys get or have access to. I think they just have to ask for it. And my husband sent me his approved visitors list, but it was an older list. I wasn't even on there. So that means that this list that he had was from like 3 or 4 years before, however long ago, maybe only a year old, but still I had just recently gotten approved to visit him like in November, December. And then we were making plans to get married in March. Again, we were super impulsive people, and yeah. So I had to see his visitors list in order to help get people situated. So if, like, say his grandma and his mom and his brother and his sister, if they all wanted to be there, we needed to make sure that they were still on the approved visitors list. And this means that after like about, I want to say like 2 years, after about 2 years, you have to get like a renewal for your approved visitors listing. So you need to fill out another visiting form so that you can become an approved visitor again. So say my sister-in-law, she used to visit him when she was a minor under the age of 18. And then she turned 18 and she had to, literally, she was supposed to have filled out another visitor's form and show, send in her new, her identification card and all this saying, hey, look, I'm over the age 18. This is my ID card information. I'd like to visit my brother. So all of that is, kind of said when she fills out her information on the visiting form. So I don't remember why she wasn't able to make it to the wedding. It's been like almost 3 years, you guys. It's all fuzzy in my brain. I'll have to ask her why she wasn't able to make it. But yeah, a lot of people showed up to our wedding. We can have up to like, I think 10 people to show up at the wedding. We can have 10 people total. Like I think I'm part of the 10 people as the bride. And then my husband could invite 2 friends of his that are inside with him. So at our wedding, actually, he only had 1 friend because he thought we wouldn't really be able to have enough money to feed everybody. So it was himself, one of his friends from the inside. It was like his grandmother, his stepfather, his brother, his cousin, his mom, his 2 nieces. I want to say there was at least one other person there, but that's who I remember. If I forgot anyone, I'm sorry. Okay, and then myself, that's 8 people, that's of us. And then my husband, his friend, and the lady who married us in this little small room where we got married. So that was like, what did I say, like 10 or 11 people jammed up in a little room doing the whole wedding thing. That was fun. I am still very resentful that I don't have a single picture of me and him kissing. Not even on our wedding day. We don't get to have pictures of us kissing. That makes me sad. But yeah. All right. This has been a very long video. I hope you guys all have a good night. For me, it is quite late. It's past 3 o'clock in the morning, but y'all know that I am a late owl. Is that what it's called? Late owl? Something where I stay up late. Okay, I'm nocturnal. All right. Bye, you guys. See you guys next video. Take care. Bye.